Meanwhile, in Washington, Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant is meeting U.S. officials, including the Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Now, he's been pressed on Israel's post-war plans for Gaza and also urged to calm tensions on the Lebanese border. Jamie Owen spoke to our correspondent Jonathan Regev in Tel Aviv.
The day after is quite a controversial issue when it comes to Israel, because it's a big question. What will happen in the Gaza Strip once the war is over? When the war is over? It's not exactly clear when it will happen, but who will control Gaza? Israel is saying loud and clear that, at least officially, it has no plans of remaining there controlling the citizens. Israel has no plans of being in charge of education, sewage, garbage, you name it. But who will be in charge? Of course, as far as Israel is concerned, not Hamas. And then, of course, the next perhaps designated factor could be the Palestinian Authority. But for many in Israel, especially some key components in the current government, that's a very red light, something they simply do not agree to. Mainly, we're speaking of the far-right ministers, Itamar Ben-Gvir, Bezalel Smotrich. Any plan that would put the Palestinian Authority in control of Gaza is something they would oppose to. And these two ministers have the power to topple the government, period. So the Israeli government, headed by Benjamin Netanyahu, is trying to avoid this matter as much as possible. The United States, on the other hand, wants a clear picture. They want to understand from Israel what comes next. We understand there's a war. There was the October 7th attack, and new Israel had to react. But once the war is over, what comes next? And Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has to try and please both sides. On the one hand, not to anger the coalition in Israel. On the other hand, give the Americans the responses that they're seeking to receive. Not so sure he's been able to do it. Not so sure he's been able to please both sides.
Jonathan, that's a future which seems some way away. Let's talk about the more immediate present and Israel's Supreme Court deciding to end draft exemptions for ultra-Orthodox Jews.
Yes, and that, for the coalition, I have to say, is quite a serious issue. We've been talking again and again about the protests in Israel and what effect do they have on the government, and the answer has always been not so much, because as long as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has that strong grip on his 64-member coalition, then his government is fine. But when you exempt, when the Supreme Court basically stops the exemption of the ultra-Orthodox from going to the army, that of course angers the ultra-Orthodox members of the coalition. The coalition, we just spoke of Ben-Gvir and Smotrich. They make one element of the coalition. The other one is the two ultra-Orthodox parties. And when they see the Supreme Court taking a decision which, according to them, is one that hurts their voting base, they are also beginning to think whether this coalition is one that is good for them. So this could eventually, not today and not tomorrow, but sometime in the future, could shake the foundations of the Israeli coalition. Eventually could topple it down. Of course, this is Israeli politics, and some tricks and shticks could always be found, but the one cornerstone of the stability of this coalition has been taken away this morning.